Hello, my name is Lizzie. Each week I'm bringing along a different origami fold to encourage you to take some time out for your well-being, a little bit of you time, a little bit of fun. And that's just with paper, and you will find it will lift your mood. It gives you focus, gives you challenge, sense of achievement, maybe something beautiful that also continues to bring you some joy as well. Maybe you'll make presents for others. All of these films are dedicated to my colleagues at UCLH, a hospital in London, and I'm encouraging my colleagues, healthcare workers, as well as patients to get creative as a way of helping during these difficult times. These films are absolutely for everybody to enjoy as well, so I hope you can join us. So I thought this week I'm going to share with you what I'm calling a sweet wild strawberry, and this is inspired by wild strawberries outside at the moment, and this is my own design. It may be that others have found it, I don't know, but I have found it myself, and so I'm very, very happy to teach this, pass it on, and you're welcome to do the same as well. So this strawberry actually is derived, well, I was experimenting with the lovely traditional lily, and I was just experimenting with folds, and I found it became a lovely strawberry shape. So there is already a really lovely origami strawberry which you blow into, but it's quite square, and anyway, I just found this one by chance, and I thought it's very much the right shape of a strawberry. Or maybe you can go small and make a little one, so it's more open at the top, but it's a nice shape. And if you have any colouring pencils, I really recommend enjoying a bit of shading. I'll do that just really briefly so you also get an idea of how you can do that as well. So this will be a bit trickier than the other origami strawberry that you'll find videos for, but I hope you'll enjoy this because it's something new as well. So grab yourself a piece of paper, something to press on, and I'm going to do the same. So piece of paper, and I'll always show you from just plain paper, which I reckon everyone would have at home. Right, first of all we need to make a square. I'm going to make a nice big strawberry. So I'm going to take the corner and line it up like so. There we go. And through that corner there. And it's just taking the time and the attention to get it right. And the great thing is with paper, you can just reposition until you're happy with it as well. There we go. So next we'll remove a rectangle, so turning it over, pulling it back and squashing it down. There we go. Good strong fold, and then that means that you can do a little tiny nick, and then you can tear it off just with your fingers. So this is all really simple. Or maybe you've got some nice papers, but this is a fun one for the colouring. So here goes. So we're going to open it up, and I'm going to just show you roughly how I would shade it, but it is completely up to you how you do that. So I'm just thinking the bottom of a strawberry is quite nice and pale, so I'm going to do this. I would do it a lot more detailed and carefully, or maybe you don't need to. I don't know, it's up to you. Oh, another nice pink over there. But I found it actually very relaxing to do a little bit of shading as well, and hopefully this will encourage you. It's also another good way of just calming, focusing, enjoying the marks that you can make. I'm going to add on some pips as well. Why not? Thinking that I might do a little bit of shading around those. So you could do a little bit of lighter shading too. So I have really enjoyed this process of thinking about lovely colours of the strawberry. Simple pleasures. There are lots of wild strawberries around at the moment, so felt like quite nice timing. It's at the moment it's summer, but it doesn't really feel like it. So I feel as if I'm folding my own little summer vibes. Maybe you could do the same too. This is really not very carefully shaded, but it's fine just to be able to show you where to add some colour. Definitely could do this better. It's nice to do something quick just to show you. And maybe you could paint, or maybe you could use pastels or chalks or felt tips, get a really bright colour. Eventually it will end up going green towards the edges. Definitely won't be nice. Careful that we've had on the other, but it's just to show you roughly where to do your shading. Just such a big piece of paper, it would take ages to do it shades nicely, but that's part of the point, is to give yourself time to do things, but you probably don't want to watch me just shading the whole time, so we'll pretty much finish there. Nice and green around the edges. Nice sound, doesn't it, even just a pencil on paper. A little bit more red has to be done. Okay, I think that will do. So we've got a diagonal line. If we can do the other diagonal line next, please. That's it. There we go. So we've done both diagonals. Now turn your piece of paper over, and if we do the horizontal and the vertical, they often start off the same pieces of origami, and then you can start doing different things as you go along. So I've been deliberately experimenting a lot recently. It's been great fun. I genuinely never know what's going to emerge. So the strawberry was a bit of a surprise, but a nice surprise. Okay, so your piece of paper, you should, as it is, be able to just push all the edges together. It's a little bit like that fortune teller, a little bit like that. It's always nice to just enjoy the different shapes and forms. So I'm now squashing that down, and I'm going to take one of these little flaps and I'm going to put my finger in. And the reason I'm doing that is to try to get rid of any wrinkles at the bottom, because that will affect it all. Now you can see here, I need to line up those points, and I also need to line that along there. So do take your time. That's it. Can you see I've tried to line everything up really nicely, so these points are together, this line's all in line, and then you can squash it down at the sides. That's it. So this is almost like leaves of a book, but I'm actually going to turn to the back of the book. You shouldn't look at the back, should you? And then again, you've got another pocket. Again, put your finger in there, just to get rid of those wrinkles. Squashing it down, you can see all the points coming out, so I'm going to bring those points back in, line this up. Definitely do this on a solid surface, don't do this in the air. I'm just doing this so I can say hello at the same time. That's it, and I think I will concentrate for the other side. So again, as I said, leaves of a book, turning over to a fresh new leaf, and you've again got another pocket. Same thing, put your finger in, squash it down, keeping everything lined up. That's it. And then the same here. So you're doing this on all the sides. So if you've made a lily before, this is how it all goes. So keeping those points together. There we go. So it should be looking like this. Nice and stacked up. It's all nice and equal. And the great thing is with paper, you can reposition until you're happy. So don't be afraid to do that. Mine all feels nice and neat. Looks a bit like a boat as well, doesn't it, at this point? So our next step, so it's going to start being different now from the lily. So we're going to take this side and bringing it to the middle. So it's going to make it really quite narrow. Can you see? So I'm taking this side and bringing it to that middle line. Like so. Do that right from the bottom. I am going to bring the camera down again. I can see clearly what I'm doing. Here we go. And then the same with the other side, that side, and bring it into that middle line. There we go. So again, like a book, turning to the back. Any one of these sides, the bottom, bring it to the middle. So we're going to do this on every side. So it ends up looking very kind of narrow. That's great. This will make it a nice shape for a strawberry. There we go. Oh, looks slightly off centre. So again, you can reposition until you feel happy with it. It's always a good idea. There we go. Great. Now again, you can leaf through until you get to another side. And I might do the same on the back. So just so that everything's balanced, it always feels then there's less tension in the paper. So turning the page, so it's like this front and back. And again, the bottom side, bring it into the middle. And doing that on both sides. So again, I went from the outside and I brought it inwards, and the same with this side, bring it to that middle line. I keep twisting it around sideways so that it's just how I seem to work. We all have our little ways of doing things, don't we? So this side again, bring it into the middle. There we go. And the same thing. There we go. So it's looking very kind of tall and narrow, but this will give the shapely strawberry. So, oh, you can see mine's a little bit all over the place. Not too bad. It'll be all right. Okay. So our next step is we're going to do the same, almost the same idea from the top to the middle. So I'm taking this. It's a little bit like the lily if you've made that with me or elsewhere, taking this, and I'm going to line it up again. I think I'm going to bring the camera down so I can see very clearly what I'm doing. So it's gone from the tip and bringing that down in a straight line, and I'll do this on the other side as well. So bring that there, and that's what we're doing on every side. So turning to the back, same thing, this side to that line. And go carefully doing it through the tip. And I'm going to do that on each side. Hopefully you're getting the idea of it as well. And then again, like Lizzie book, turning it over to another sheet, and again I'm going to do the same thing on the back so it all feels nice and balanced. That's it. Lovely. And the same thing, that side to that middle line. Like so, that side to the middle line. Lots of folds, aren't there? That's all right. And then just one more side for me to go. Here we go, that side to the middle line. Okay, and just taking the time to make sure you're happy with each of those folds. Again, it's just enjoyable, the focus that you have to give this. So I was recently doing this with some nurses, and they really like that it's quite challenging, which is great. So our next step is, it's almost like a little opening a present there. And what we want to do is change, at the moment this is closing at the top right, we're opening it. And I am pushing that top edge in. So I've opened up the flap, opening it there, and I am pulling the bottom forward, and I'm pushing that side in, and I am trying to get a nice little line there. It's really difficult to describe this in words, but that's what you're after, so this bit sticks up. And I'll do it many times, so hopefully in your own hands you'll start to get the idea as well. So here, there was that flap, I opened it, and I brought out the bottom of this, and I pushed that inwards, she says, push that inwards, so tucking that inwards. So I'm tucking it inwards so that this forms a nice little sticky up bit. That's it. Again, I sort of do it, and it's how do you explain it. Let's do it on the other side. Hopefully you will get the idea. Opening that flap, I'm pulling that edge out, and I'm gently pushing this in, like so. So it's tucked in, and as you tuck it in, it does already start to form that nice little point, but make sure it's a nice little point there. As I said, this is a more challenging strawberry, but it's quite fun as a result. I think the challenge will keep you enchanted by this strawberry. That's it. So again, opening that flap, And I'm pulling that out and I'm tucking that top bit inwards. And as you're tucking it in, it starts to form a little point there. There we go. So that's what we're doing on every side. So I'm going to turn the pages. Nice and big for you now, isn't it? There we go. And I'm going to do the same for the back so that they're balanced. So again, opening up a flap and I'm pulling that down and I'm pressing that gently in. Make sure there's no little wrinkles there. And as I'm sort of tucking that in, then this little point forms and I'm keeping that sticking up. It is very hard to explain in words, this one. So again, opening up that flap, bringing that out, tucking that inwards, and it should make that little point, little dance for your fingers. That's it, and then the same on the back. Opening up the flap, bringing that down, tucking that in, making that a nice little point. Almost there. I hope that it's working for you as well. And the same thing, opening that up, bringing that out, tucking that in, and leaving that sticking up point. Lovely. Hope it's worked. Nice little challenging step, but that's what makes it fun. Okay. So hopefully you've got something that looks like this with all these little sticky up things. Always check that they're all the same on each side. Obviously you have the smooth side in between. Right, so these sticky up bits will actually become the leaves. So we're going to start making these leaves. So you will find that the leaf bit is in one of these smooth areas. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to gently flip it down, sort of inwards. And that's a leaf. That's quite nice. Great. Next side, again you're sort of going into that smooth pocket, opening up that top flap, bringing it down and closing it in on itself. Next one. Don't know how I just sort of found this. There we go, this top flap, bringing it down, just allowing myself to be playful and just seeing what happens. I do recommend it. It's taken me many years, to be fair, to get to this stage. This top flap, I felt like I've been an apprentice for 10 years before I had the courage to start thinking, maybe I can do some things myself, why not? Actually, most of my inspiration, strangely enough, has come from the virus itself, the idea of creating variants, different folds produce different new things, and so having that attitude of you don't need to have a plan, just see what happens. And that's nature as well. Evolution. Right, so we sort of got a strawberry, believe it or not. It looks a bit of a curious thing. Someone said it's more like a pepper at this point, but at the top it's like a little bowl. Now our next step is our little fingers. If you've made a nice little star bowl, which is something Tempco, oh, I've forgotten her name now, but if you have a look through you'll see that I've done a star bowl which is designed by someone else, and it has a little bit of this feel. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm putting my fingers inside there and I'm going to slowly sort of push out on each of these ridges on the inside. So I'm gently opening up and I'm sort of running my finger, I suppose, from the bottom to the top. I'm almost trying to get rid of the wrinkles, I suppose. So it's kind of expanding it. So it was all kind of concertinaed up. And this isn't from blowing, it's from your fingers. Gently pushing out each side. Those little leaves stay down and that will help it all. You can see I'm putting my fingers inside and gently pushing out my finger inside as it's opening up each of these sides. And it's expanding your strawberry, so it ends up looking like quite a wide bowl. Yeah, quite an interesting shape. Oh, that's what it's like inside. Very nice. So I'm going to make sure that's nice and kind of wide on all of the sides. Just enjoy taking your time on this one. It's really expanded. And it's just with gently your touch and getting rid of those creases. So it's a lovely shape. It's not quite strawberry, she's getting there. So for it to become a strawberry, we sort of need to get it to come inwards a bit as well. It needs to sort of tuck inwards. So to do that, you're going to have to, again, really concentrate, but that's part of the joy. So there we go, this lovely little bowl. So you've got the leaves, and between the leaves you've got these areas. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, there's the leaf there, I'm going to take this side and I'm going to bring it to that middle line. And you're going to have to just be really gentle, really take your time. So what I'm doing is I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold. So you're going to add a little diagonal line there. So I'm taking that and I'm folding that to that midway line. So you can see the leaf is there, and I'm taking that side and I'm folding it to the middle line, like so, and I'm just pressing it down, giving it a little mark. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. Can you see that's brought now the leaf a bit wider, and it's also beginning to sink it in a bit too. So again, this line I'm going to take to the middle. And again, you just have to, oh, you can really feel like if your tongue is going to come out of concentration, it really is. I'll show you what I'm doing in a moment. And you have to go carefully because you don't want to scrunch your strawberry. But this is what I'm doing. I'm adding those little diagonal lines. As I said, it's not easy, but it is part of the joy of it. And you will get that. And there's these two little bits sticking up. So actually, to give it a little bit more shape, I'm also then folding that over too. So these little bits that stick up, I'm folding outwards. And it looks like the sort of parts of a strawberry too. So you can see it's beginning to change the shape a little bit, because otherwise it sticks up, it's a bit too wide. So again, this area, this smooth sort of area, we're going to take this line and bring it to the middle line. As I said, you have to just really concentrate. This is probably not one for children because you'll really struggle, and you might then get really frustrated at it. Or you might be very chuffed because you managed to do something very hard. Okay, taking this. Oh, I feel fingers and thumbs myself, but it will get there. And can you see it's giving the nice shapeliness of the strawberry? There we go. And again, the little bit sticking up, you can then fold, and it again gives it a bit more shape and sort of keeps it in shape as well. Oh, what's going on there? Wow. So I find I have to get completely focused, so it is particularly hard actually with the filming at the same time, just because it requires all my focus to do this. So can you see it's getting more shapely? So again here, I'm going to take that sort of ridge and bring it to the midway line, adding that diagonal. Yeah, it's hard to show you, isn't it? Because folding, my hands are all over it and you can't then see what I'm doing. Again, this line to the middle line. I'm not sure there is an easy way to do it. As I said, it's a more challenging strawberry, but it may look a bit more of a realistic strawberry as well. So they meet. Also reminds me a little bit of a heart too. One of the nurses suggested that as well. Got a good feel to it. So again, you've got a leaf, that ridge, and bring it to the middle line. So your sweet world strawberry, that's it, that line to the middle line. And I think then I am done. So this is a good challenge. Hopefully you'll feel chuffed when you do manage to master it. Again, those bits sticking up, right, and then folding back so they stick up and out. Right, let's see. You can also maybe, again, gently go round, check everything's kind of shapely enough. So again, getting your fingers in there with those new folds that have made it more shapely than it was. Otherwise, it was just coming up in a big kind of bowl, whereas now this sort of squashes it down, which is more like the strawberry shape. There we go. hope that's worked for you. Sweet wild strawberry. And yeah, you can maybe colour it more carefully as well. And I managed to get it a bit smaller. It's hard small, I have to say. So I don't recommend that you start off small. Start bigger and see how it goes. Hope it works for you. Would love to see your strawberries. Take care. Happy folding. Bye bye.